Today, I'm gonna show you the easiest way to put together a spear gun. All right, so what do I got here? Carbon barrel, look at that, beautiful, sleek, low profile, so light, so light. Now this one's foam filled, so this is for a blue water gun. All right, what we have to do here first though, a couple different things before we put this together. Putting it together is very simple, but you can't just cram your handle in there, cram your muzzle on there, and call it a day. You wanna make sure everything lines up so you can prevent water leakage, and you don't want your muzzle tilted a little bit down or a little bit over to the side. You want everything sitting flush, very tight. Now, if you got a really good barrel, okay, if you had a really good barrel, it will be cut flush, flat, okay? Now, if you take a real good look here, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it. This one has, so when you push these in, there's a little bit of gap that could lead to some water intrusion, okay? So we wanna prevent that. Best way to prevent that is we're gonna sand this down. I don't want to recut it, because if I recut it, then I'm gonna shorten it. I don't want to shorten it, so I'm just gonna sand this a little bit, and I'm gonna use an orbital palm sander. Make it real simple, real quick, super easy. Let's go check that out. So you want to make sure you got a couple things. First off, safety glasses. Since this is carbon fiber, the particles going in the air, you don't want to worry about scratching your eye. Second off, now I don't have a dust mask down here, but I do have is this respirator that will block out any particulates in breathing. I don't want this in my lungs. You shouldn't either. So this is just a random, orbital saw. I've got 100 grit sandpaper on here. That should be enough. It won't take a lot. Okay, this will be real quick. So and I can see where the high part's gonna be. Before you go jamming your handles and your muzzles into these holes, you're gonna need to lube it up. You always wanna lube it up before you jam something in a hole. You don't wanna jam it in there dry because you'll tear it up. It's sensitive. You got a little rubber on here. You don't want your rubber tearing. If your rubber tears, it leaks. We know what happens when your rubber leaks. Well, you won't have a floating spear gun, that's for certain. So, use marine grade grease. Just put a little on there. Rub some down in here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna check where this is actually seated at. Oh, look at that, look, it's just, we're gonna kind of turn it in there just a little bit too. So it looks like this side here. We're gonna have to trim that down a little bit. All right. Whew. Let's try that again. Oh, mommy. Okay, that was weird. We're gonna hit this, I gotta get some stuff. Now that we've got our barrel ends flush, we can go ahead, we can mount the handle and the muzzle. Now there's a way that I recommend doing this, and I recommend doing it mounting your handle first, and this is why. That way you can set your barrel on something flat. See, it'd be hard to set the muzzle on something flat after you've mounted it to mount your handle. And when you set your barrel flat, you can use that flatness to push your handle down in there deep to get a nice flush seating. And then you can use the rubber end of your handle as leverage to install the muzzle. Now there's one thing I am gonna do here first before I do anything is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drill a couple pilot holes in here. Stainless steel screws. They are about 3/4 inch long and they're pretty thick, pretty heavy duty. So let's go ahead. I've already got a pilot hole drilled in for the handle. Go ahead, let's seat this handle in there. Now to do this, I'm gonna use some leverage, and I want to do that because I want no gap in between here, okay? Before I go ahead and I drill everything, I want to make sure I get the handle directly lined up with this rail, okay? And to do that, I'll need a spear. This handle for the actual reel kind of locks in and it holds it in place. I'm just gonna check it real quick. Drill this. We'll drill it. That's perfect. So we're gonna drill our pilot holes first. So we're gonna kind of eyeball down where this sits. Well, what I don't want to do is I don't want to damage the O-ring. So I want to try to drill right in between one and then right on top of the others. So I've got an O-ring here. See them O-rings? Okay. I'm gonna hold this. There's a hole there. I'm gonna drill these pilot holes. All right, now that we have those drilled, we can go ahead, and you always want to you just want to set it in there and then slowly twist. There it is, seat it. On this muzzle, it has a built-in rail that's coming down. I'm gonna match that rail up with the rails on the barrel. So you want everything lined up so your spear shoots out straight. So that is perfect. So then you want to pull it down. So you always want to make sure you use 2 screws too. Gives you a better seat. And then if you don't have to worry about 2 screws will always hold better than just 1. But we're gonna put 2 in there. Okay. Okay. So that is an assembled spear gun. And so now we're just gonna check. Just gonna run it down and look. That looks perfect. Absolutely perfect. So now that we've got the gun assembled, I'm gonna go over and just talk about the actual muzzle. And then we're gonna talk about this handle I put on here. I've also went ahead and I put a reel. What I like about it is that it can be free spooled. What I have here is I have a Meandros handle. This is the European style, little side release. Very nice. This is the universal grip. Down here on the end, it has a spot so you can actually look down the rail, looking from the side or trying to look over, which is really nice. It allows you to get a dead on sight. It's all stainless steel part. The other thing I like is the actual loading. Now this is a little bit modified. This is not how this comes, and I kind of drilled this out a little bit bigger and I made a modification here. You're not putting it into the barrel and potentially putting a stress on the barrel. One other thing I did do is I went ahead and I did remove the safety. From there, let's go ahead and let's talk about the muzzle. The muzzle is what I really like the most. Okay. I needed something, for one, that was going to be robust. 2, easy to use and very user-friendly, and 3, it needed to be able to hold up. Okay, that's why I chose the Manny Sub roller head. Now this is actually the double roller head, so we want to take a look here. This is made in Australia. In the States, I ordered it direct, shipped it to me, and I got it fairly quick too. What I really like though, you can get it custom. What I really liked about it is that you can have either a high rail or a low rail. That spear to sit flush on the barrel and the head in the handle. So when it comes off, there's no rise. It sits flat and it flies true and straight. They're adaptable. You can get them set to half a dozen different barrel sizes. And they will supply you an adapter. Now, since I ordered this direct from the manufacturer too at Manny Sub, I actually got the kit. So with that, you get to pick out rubbers, the color of your rubber. You can choose your roller head color, the colors of your rollers. That I just kind of thought it looked cool. If you try to contact Manny Sub, they are more than willing and very helpful with any of your needs. And I actually will be converting my other roller head into a Manny Sub single. Oh yeah, don't forget, like and subscribe.